Good morning. It is 7:59 a.m. on Wednesday, March 24th, 2021. I'm Christiana Ellis and I just got up. This is 5 more minutes. I'm tired because I stayed up too late again last night. I kind of didn't let myself sleep in as much as my body wants to because I think maybe that's the way I need to be able to start, getting to bed earlier is by not, I have to kind of let myself be tired enough. I don't know. Hopefully, we'll see how that goes. I also want to kind of jump right off today with a podcast recommendation. It's sort of a TV show slash podcast recommendation. There is a podcast that I might have actually mentioned before on these videos, but it's called A More Civilized Age. And what it is a really cool group of people who are doing a rewatch of Disney, Marvel, Star Wars's The Clone Wars cartoon. And now, the Clone Wars cartoon is mixed. So what I would say about the cartoon by itself is, at its best, it's some of the best Star Wars stuff that exists, in my opinion. I think some of it is truly transcendent and incredible. Other parts of it are not, and there's a few parts which just really feel like you kind of have to get through, and that's not great. And what almost makes it worse is that some of those parts actually do include necessary setup for the great parts, which means that it's not just as simple as saying, oh, you don't have to watch these 4 episodes, just skip on to the next. Some of that you can do, but other parts of it, it's like the greatest parts aren't going to be as great if you don't know the setup from the other parts that are otherwise not as fun to watch, but do require information, provide information and context for things. So it's like, do I recommend the show? Yes, with the caveat, right? Like, of understanding that. But A More Civilized Age is this podcast. It's from a few of the folks that do Friends at the Table, which is a role-playing game podcast. And I don't know all of them super well yet, but what they are a group of people who are very smart, thoughtful people with an interest in politics and systems and philosophy and that sort of thing. And they all like Star Wars to a greater or lesser extent. And they are coming from positions of having either watched or not watched other elements. Like, so there's a few people in the group who have watched the whole run of the show. There's people who have seen some of it, but not all of it, and have seen all the movies. And there's even a couple of people who have not even seen all the movies. And so they're watching through Clone Wars and talking about it and spending a fair amount of time discussing even relatively simple episodes. And I just dig it. I think it's great. I recommend it thoroughly, whether you have or have not watched the show. I have watched it, and I'm actually rewatching it, along with them. And so you should check that out. A More Civilized Age is the name of that podcast. Thumbs up. We had a new session of Dungeons and Dragons So Many Levels last night, where kind of turned the screw on the party a little bit, in the sense of I gave them a pretty tough fight, and we ended up having to cliffhanger right in the middle of it, which always, I don't know, my initial inclination was to try to cliffhanger before the fight started, but everyone was kind of eager to keep going. But it always feels really awkward to me to try to stop in the middle of a combat. Sometimes you just need to because people like have to go to bed and stuff. But gosh, it just feels frustrating and to be interrupted in that way. Without resolution to a combat, you have. I mean, obviously, serialized movies and TV shows and everything do this all the time. Cliffhangers where it's, oh my gosh, so and so's in danger. How are they going to get out of this one? Like it's it's a reoccurring thing. But I don't know. Somehow when I'm running the session, uh, it doesn't feel the same to me. It doesn't feel like this exciting suspense. It feels like this, like, oh, but it's not done. I feel interrupted. GM interrupted. Hmm. But in any case, it's also like, yeah, you know what? I'll just leave it there. And I will talk to you all tomorrow for 5 more minutes.